I am enjoying this life experience very much. And
that's the plan. That's the plan.
I have really found my stride in deliberately creating the life I want. Things have worked out for me always. I need some help, though, with one time of year. And I'm not from Kansas City, but close enough, St. Louis. I'm sure there's other people in here that struggle, with this situation. Tornado season. I find myself falling way down the emotional scale when we get these tornado warnings. It's so silly that I stress about it, and I can't seem to get past it.
Well, anytime there is something that you really care about, you see, do you feel how powerfully your two questions go together, your two comments go together? How much you are enjoying life, mm-hmm. and how you don't like anything that threatens it. If you said, life's all right, and when I leave it's fine, and by the way, when are the tornadoes coming? That would match. But when you say, I'm really, really, really enjoying this. And so anything that feels like it's an outside threat or something that you can't control makes you feel like that. But after a while, you said, things always work out for you. And rendezvousing with life on planet Earth is more about timing than any of you have any idea. Most don't realize that they're vibrational emitters and that everyone else is too, and that what you're emitting, the law of attraction is managing. So when you are mostly, as you are, tuned to your guidance, your impulses will always put you where you want to be. Many years ago, Jerry and Esther had some chickens, and skunks kept bothering them. And so Jerry set a very clever live trap in a big barrel. And when the skunk would get in it, he would set the sprinkler on it to distract the skunk, and then he would put a tarp over it, and then they would haul the skunk away and let it go into someone else's garden, into a part of the county that Jerry and Esther named Skunk Holler because they took so many skunks there. And then they bought an old truck to do the hauling with because the skunk was very, 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 very smelly. And then they decided to restore the truck because neither of them could bear it. And they ended up restoring it to showroom perfection. And then one day they were in the truck and it looked so beautiful. And they had been on a long road trip in it. They'd been all the way from San Antonio to Dallas. They even towed a little trailer behind it with some things that they were moving about. And when they got back close to where they lived, the truck broke an axle. And Esther didn't know what was happening. Sparks were flying as the axle was dragging on the highway. And as they pulled off, 3 or 4 cars pulled off with them. No damage at all was done to the truck. The wheel just came off. And they were right in front of the place that would repair it, right in front of the place that would repair it. They said, do you need help? And Jerry said, yeah, you could just push us off the road. We're where we need to be. So they talked to us a lot about that because it felt uncanny to them and freaky. And they wanted to know why would they get a broken axle. And we agreed with them. It was because the kid that they bought the truck from for $200 had banged it into everything. He raced it and had broken the axle. When they looked at the axle, here's the axle about the size of a silver dollar. And there was just one little thread that had been hanging by all that time. And we said, things of a physical nature do wear. There's resistance in physicality. But your timing is up to you. Your timing is up to you. And so what you're really asking about is, how can I be so consistently tuned that when I get an impulse, I know it's real and I feel like following it? Or even better, what you're asking is, how can I be aware of which end of the stick I'm on? In other words, when you know what you don't want, you also know what you do want. But a lot of times you think you're talking about what you want when you're really pushing against what you don't want. So it's getting that work in place so that you can really feel. The other night, Esther laid awake in bed for hours. She'd had a nap in the afternoon, so when she went to bed, she wasn't sleepy at all, even though she had an early flight. So she just lay there and pondered things. She played a new game that she made up herself based upon what we've been talking about these days, that when a thought occurs to you, it's not the beginning. There was a vibrational beginning. In other words, when you get an idea that you want something, where do you think that idea comes from? It comes right out of the vortex, and you're in the vicinity close enough that you can receive that idea. Well, when you have an idea of something that is irritating or scary, where do you think that idea comes from? Which end of the stick are you on when the idea comes? So Esther laid there and thought about several things that had occurred to her in the last day or two or three. And it was easy for her to recognize where she had been on this emotional stick when that idea came. So if you know that you have an inner being, and you know this inner being is aware of you, and you know that your inner being has an awareness of where you are in relationship to everything you want, then things will always work out for you, because you will always have impulses that will call you not away from tornadoes and terrible things, but toward the good life that you're looking for. And once you get oriented like that, then you feel invincible and secure and balanced and not afraid of anything. So do you say, as a kid, no bears are out tonight, Daddy shot them all last night? That's the song that Esther and her friends played. So no tornadoes out tonight, they've been taken care of? No, it isn't that. It's that here I am in a dynamic world with all kinds of things going on for the benefit of the whole. And I live on a sphere that is spinning in its orbit in perfect proximity to other planets. And there are a lot of things going on. There's a big picture that is happening for the longevity and the stability of us. And I have the ability to zig and zag in this dynamic world. You do. You do. As humans, you are adaptive. Incredibly adaptive, but you complain so much that you make it harder than it needs to be. So, feel better? Not really. Have some practice to do, for sure.
Yes, definitely.
When you are mostly, as you are, tuned to your guidance, your impulses will always put you where you want to be. Your timing is up to you. When you know what you don't want, you also know what you do want. When a thought occurs to you, it's not the beginning. There was a vibrational beginning. And once you get oriented like that, then you feel invincible and secure and balanced and not afraid of anything.